let's just pick and choose from among these. Technology, and this one is going to go, I think, to Mr. Clark first, because we're going to try to rotate who answers first, so that poor Mr. Blake down there doesn't have to be always the one answering. So we'll start this one with Mr. Clark. Technology seems to be a big focus on preparing our students for the future workforce. How can we align the goals towards preparing our students for this technology early in their education? For instance, something basic like keyboarding is taught in late middle school that they need to learn sooner. How is the district preparing the educators to use more technology in the classroom? It seems some schools are more advanced than others.
Okay, I don't know if one school's more advanced than others in the district. We try to keep it pretty, during my time in the district, we try to keep it pretty uniform in what's offered. And you're exactly right. Years ago, keyboarding and typing and that type of thing was sort of a necessary evil with you know, trying to teach kids how to type and do that sort of thing. I can remember, I'm dating myself, maybe I'm too old here, he pointed that out to me. I remember when we got the first electric typewriters at Somerville High School, we thought that was the biggest thing since sliced bread, and it probably was. But kids come to us now with a tremendous skill set as far as technology goes, and in some cases, you know, they're far more advanced than I am, I can tell you that. But the key is to have folks on the district staff who keep up with this, with the developments in technology, and then the district has to be flexible and nimble enough to be able to offer those, you know, readjusted, reevaluated, reconfigured courses. I think that's a huge thing for us, and I think technology can help us mitigate some of the overcrowding issues that we have in the district. I really do. I think some of the distance learning courses that are out there, some of the things that may be available to students outside of school hours can help us with overcrowding of classrooms. But again, the district has to have the finances to be able to implement the technology, and they have to be able to stay on top of technological developments.
Ms. Crosby?
Well, first let me agree with Sam on the money. Everything boils down to money in education. If we don't have the money, we can't give it to the children, we can't do what we can do for it. I would like to say, though, that as far as technology, all of the schools are not wired properly for some of the high-tech stuff. That's what part of the referendum money is going to go for, is to put the proper wiring for them to get in the internet, the different systems in which you said are those things that I don't even know anything about that's so high above us. But we need to get some of those schools wired for that. Our schools have smart boards for the teachers. Some of you might not be familiar with smart boards, but I know as a teacher, they were very important to the learning and to the, especially in elementary grades, which children have access and have that interaction with the boards. One of the things that I don't approve of that's where technology might be used is I think we need technology in kindergarten. But a lot of times when children, they're so advanced now, when they come to kindergarten, they already know how to read. And like I said, I'm an elementary and early childhood major. They already know how to read, so a lot of times they are placed on a computer to do computer programs instead of having that one-on-one instruction from the teacher. That's not downing the teacher whatsoever, because believe me, I'm the first one here to support the teachers and stand up for them, because they know our needs better than anybody else. But I think the technology really needs to be as high as it can possibly get in the middle and high schools, or even before that, you know, the upper elementary grades. But the funding is what the bottom line is. Some of the after-school daycares take their funds to buy extra computers. A lot of people think that the after-school kids might go through. They don't. They have to pay a fee for staying every afternoon, and that money is used wisely for, usually a lot of times, for technology.
Thank you, Mr. DeBose.
Yes, ma'am. I think that we should embrace technology foremost, because a lot of it is not being embraced. The use of iPads would be wonderful. Kindles, to have books online, to use these things more wisely. The schools are being wired now. Somerville High School just got finished getting wired. Gregg Middle School just got through getting wired. And the sooner we introduce this to the kids, the better off they're going to be, because it's all going that way. Like you said, we started with electric typewriters. Now we have a little thing that we can hold in our hand that can reach the world. We need to embrace that and introduce that very early so that these kids will be advanced and world-class as we're striving for here.
Thank you. Mr. Farnsworth?
Well, I tell you what, I work in the high-tech finance industry, and when I say high-tech, our company and the programs and applications that I manage and oversee, we execute on the order of hundreds of millions of transactions a day. Hundreds of millions of transactions a day. If that doesn't kind of strike a chord, that I am in the high-tech business and technology, and I get technology, and that we need technology in our schools, because I see what the real world needs in order to be profitable, then I guess I'm not doing a good job of letting you guys know that. But I'm in it every day. I'm in the real world, and I see what our students have to have in the real world to succeed. And not only succeed, but we need kids nowadays who are lifelong learners. I'll tell you what, there is no way we're going to be able to teach our kids every single thing that they're going to need to know for the rest of their lives. But what we can teach them is how to be lifelong learners, and that's what we need to have successful students. So absolutely, you heard one of my major points earlier is technology. We have to implement new technology, and on the board, I will do that. Thank you.
Mr. Smith?
Ellen, that was an excellent question. Hidden behind that question is a lot of things that we in South Carolina must address. Amongst them is how we're doing in math, how we're doing in science, technology. There's a saying, you have to start early and often. We look at this, but a lot of the schools, once you're in third grade, you go into the feeder programs and go on and up. You have to start early and often, Ellen, in order for our kids to become world class in the things they do. We need to start scoring higher. And the only way to do that is to be early and often. We have to develop educational systems that work with those students in technology, learning the technology, learning the basis. Now, we talked about the money, which they talked about. Yes, we can be wired. We can be wired at home. We can be wired any place we go. But we need to start teaching early and often the basics. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about putting the T back into teaching. It's very important that we teach these things legitimately and in an organized fashion so as we move on. With the electric typewriter, students started learning electric typewriter in first, second kindergarten. And as I remember in 7th grade, I was learning I knew how to type. It started early and often. And I thank you. Good question.
Thank you. Ms. Tupper?
Gosh, technology is such a vital part of today's child's world that if we don't do things to expose them, they are going to be behind. And they are competing in a global world for jobs. They've got to be able to do that to compete. Our schools are not fully equipped to be able to handle today's technology, so we have to get them up to par to be able to do that. However, or I guess in addition to, there are a lot of families who don't have computers at home. So those children are already behind because they don't even know simple keyboarding techniques, that they don't know how to maneuver the internet. So there are a lot of children who are missing out on a vital piece of their education because they don't have that access. So we need to have computers available to them. Now, I'm not sure that I'm ready to give every child an iPad to take home, but I think we need to have more computer labs in the schools. We need to have computers available. Teachers have great resources for science and math. They have computer labs there. There are all kinds of programs. We had a summer program that we used in the elementary grades this summer for children to keep up so they didn't lose that downtime. So there's lots of programs and things that we can use to maximize the educational process so they don't lose time and supplement their learning during school, but we do have to get the buildings up to be able to do that.
Mr. Blake?
Oh, yes, that's a good question. And for anyone to even think that our children is not capable of running the computers, I want you to get another thought coming. We probably the best in the district, not only in the district, but probably in South Carolina, we don't follow anyone. We lead. We lead by technology. The only thing that we need is some money to keep up with this modern technology. By the time we catch up with this technology, it changes. And we got to be able to change. And these kids change faster than we do. These kids change a whole lot faster than we do. Smart board, that's probably the smartest thing they came up with. They don't teach kids how to write anymore. That's for us, older people. We write, they type, they do things that we can't do. Anytime I need something done, I go to my grandson over there, or either I go to my daughter. That's what she does. She teaches that in high school. Now if it's telephones, I talk to my other daughter who works for Verizon. She does that. I don't know how to do this stuff. So I take a lot of pleasure and a lot of pride in these kids in our district, and I'll put them up against any children from any other district, because I know what they can do, because I've been there. I've seen them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next round is going to start with Ms. Crosby. And this was a reader question today that came in. Would you be in favor of the school district shopping locally first for supplies when at all possible, which keeps tax dollars in our community?
I certainly do support that, and places like Staples and Office Depot, Home Depot, that's in our Tri-County, they do give discounts and give cuts to the school district and deliver as well, which is also a big help to our school district. I know that from teaching for 30 years over in a neighboring community. That's where we got a lot of our stuff from. Also, they also give cuts to teachers. They're always trying to send us coupons and things of that nature. And of course, I always believe in keeping business at home, whether it be school supplies or whether it be our builders or whether it be any suppliers that we have. I would like to see it come from hometown and give our community that support to, like you said, stay hometown community. So I fully support that, yes.
Thank you. Mr. DeBose?
Yes, ma'am, I couldn't agree more. Being in the schools every day, I see what we spend on certain things, and as far as cleaning supplies go, we spend a fortune on cleaning supplies. We can do a whole lot better. We can do that locally, and we can do that with more reasonable products. And as far as the wiring of schools go, Somerville High School got wired for internet at $0 cost to the taxpayers. The PTA, the local PTA paid for that job. So we can do more. We can do ourselves. We can buy local, and we can raise money within our schools ourselves as volunteers. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Farnsworth?
I'll tell you what, if you go out to the farmer's market any Saturday morning, you'll see me out there because we believe in local markets. We believe in keeping it local. That's myself and my family, of course. And absolutely, within the school district, the school district is a huge consumer of goods and materials and assets. So it is extremely important when you look at the overall picture of what the school district can actually give to our community and help provide by shopping locally and using local vendors. Absolutely. So as long as we're being competitive with our pricing and we're getting the best pricing, then absolutely I support being as local as possible.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
Here again, Ellen, when you look at that, on the surface, it's a no-brainer. Yes, we should. However, when you look at it deeper, and we got, for example, we have this bond issue coming up. This bond issue, we'll have to look at that. And I'm telling you right now, contractually, with all the contracts to be let, we're going to look at this very hard and very close to see how much our community, the people who are paying the tax dollars in our community, will get some of those contracts. Looking at the vendors, yes, we have vendors coming in from all over. The school system is a major buyer. And we're using our tax dollars to buy those. So of course, I would look at all the vending system, the discretionary funds, all of those things would bring monies back into our community, not just the school supplies. So here again, that's a very deep question, but I can assure everyone here, when I'm elected, I will look at every dollar that is spent and see whether we can do it honestly, morally, and ethically to keep it within our community.
Thank you. Ms. Tupper?
I do believe that we should always give local businesses the opportunity to bid anything that we do in our district. Then I think we need to consider the whole picture, not just the pricing, because we have to think about the service, the value. We have to be fiscally responsible with the tax dollars, and so we have to consider the prices and everything and we're buying. So do I think we should buy locally just because they're local? No, I think we need to look at the whole picture and consider the whole package. Service, product, all that.
Mr. Blake?
Yes, I do agree with that, but first of all, we have to put something in our district so we can go to. Publix is on Trolley Road. I shop at Publix. I shop at the Walmart on Dorchester Road because I know our district's going to get this money. Staples over here, that's not in Dorchester County. I mean, that's good to get supplies and stuff. That's not Dorchester County. You know, Walmart over here, that's not Dorchester County. I spend all my money, I buy every bit of my gas on this side of town to make sure that we get it in our district. And that's how I do my thing. If we're gonna start supporting each other for supplies and stuff, then we gotta build a supply shop in our district. Because this stuff doesn't matter if it's outside the district. So like I said, up here on the other side of I-26, that's nice and convenient, but does it go to our schools? No, it goes to Berkeley County schools. I support all of Dorchester County schools.
Thank you. Mr. Clark?
Okay, that's been a huge issue for me as far as trying to go to local vendors first. Now, all things being equal, we don't want to, I think Lisa brought this out, we don't want to just go to a local vendor or be requiring schools to go to a local vendor that's going to be more expensive in the long run. So all things being equal, I think local vendors, local purveyors ought to be able to have an advantage. I think we need to do some things within the schools to encourage school purchasing agents and district purchasing agents to look, to look at local vendors first, give them the access to that, let them know who's got what. You don't want to hamstring the situation trying to spend extra money just by virtue of staying here at home. Another thing that's involved with that, though, is a state contract. A lot of things that we buy, maybe even cleaning supplies, I'm not sure, but a lot of things are bid out through the state contract, so you have to go through the state contract process, and that's a requirement. And there may be some flexibility within the district, but I know just buying paint and that sort of thing, you might want to go to Sherwin-Williams, but I can't think, well, not Walmart, but somebody else might have the state contract. Also, we spend a lot of money on legal services in District 2. I'd like to see that money stay right here. Some of those things are easy control. Some of those expenses ought to be spent right here in Somerville and Dorchester District 2. And we ought to look to district vendors, then regional, and then state, and then national vendors first.
Thank you.